Hey everyone. Tonight we're stepping into medieval life, a time when people didn't overthink their feelings because they were too busy waking up with the sun, working the same fields, and trusting that tomorrow would look very much like today. There's no rush here, no pressure to feel anything at all, just simple routines, quiet mornings, and a world that moves slowly enough for you to rest inside it. So get comfortable, let the day fade away, and let this gentle rhythm carry you into sleep. The sky is still pale, not quite night anymore, but not yet morning. A thin layer of mist rests gently over the ground, softening the edges of everything it touches. The fields blur into the paths. The paths fade into the wooden cottages, and the village seems to be holding its breath. For a moment, nothing moves. You are standing quietly in the center of a small medieval village. No crowds, no noise, no urgency. Just earth, wood, stone, and the slow beginning of another ordinary day. Somewhere in the distance, a church bell rings, not loud, not sharp. Just a single gentle sound, traveling slowly through the cool air. It does not command. It does not hurry. It simply announces the morning is near. You take a slow breath. The air smells of damp grass, fresh soil, and faint wood smoke rising from the first hearths of the day. This village has existed for generations, and mornings like this have come and gone thousands of times before, each one almost identical, each one unremarkable, each one calm. Here, no one wakes to alarms. No one rushes to beat the clock. Time is measured differently. By light, by sound, by habit. As the mist begins to lift, shapes become clearer. Low wooden houses stand close together, their roofs dark with age and morning dew. Thin trails of smoke curl upward, moving slowly, as if reluctant to leave the warmth below. Behind the cottages, fields stretch outward, still dark, still quiet. The soil waits patiently. This village does not awaken all at once. It wakes gradually. One household at a time, one breath at a time. A door opens softly, not slammed, not rushed. Just eased open, as someone steps outside to greet the cool morning air. Bare feet touch packed earth. A pause, a stretch. The day begins without words. Inside the cottages, people are waking. Not because they must, but because the light has changed. Eyes open slowly. Bodies shift beneath rough wool blankets. Hands rest for a moment on familiar wooden frames. The beds are simple, straw-filled, worn smooth by years of use. Nothing here is new. Nothing needs to be. Life in this village is not about variety. It is about rhythm, a rhythm repeated day after day, year after year. Outside, a rooster calls once, then again, not urgently, just enough to mark the moment. The sound echoes softly between the buildings before dissolving into the mist. You remain still, standing at the center of it all, observing without being seen. No one notices you. No one needs to. You are simply here, watching the village wake. A woman steps outside with a clay bowl in her hands. She pours out water slowly, careful not to spill. The splash is gentle, quiet. Somewhere nearby, wood shifts as a fire is stirred back to life. A faint crackle, a soft breath of smoke. The day begins the same way it always does, without announcement, without excitement, just steady and familiar. Children stir inside their homes. Not eager, not reluctant. They rise because it is time to rise. Old habits guide their movements. Old routines shape their mornings. In this village, there is comfort in knowing what comes next. No one wonders what the day will bring. They already know. It will bring work. It will bring rest. It will bring food, and then night. Just like yesterday. Just like tomorrow. The mist thins further now. The sky takes on a faint silver-blue color, and the first weak rays of sunlight touch the rooftops. The church bell rings again, a little closer this time. Still gentle. Still calm. It does not disturb the quiet. It belongs to it. This sound has marked mornings here for longer than anyone can remember. That tells no stories. It makes no promises. It simply says, the day is here. A man steps out of his home, pulling a coarse wool tunic over his head. He moves slowly, as if there is no reason to hurry. Because there isn't. The fields will wait. The animals will wait. Everything moves at the same pace. You notice how no one speaks loudly. Voices are low, often unnecessary. Most things can be done without words. A nod, a glance, a shared understanding. This village runs on familiarity, not conversation. The scent of bread baking drifts faintly through the air. Not rich, not sweet. Simple, heavy, reliable. It is the smell of nourishment. Not indulgence. As the sun rises a little higher, dew glistens on the grass. Each blade catches the light briefly, then lets it go. Moments like this pass unnoticed. By those who live here, they do not pause to admire them. They have seen this morning a 1,000 times before, and they will see it again. Cart creaks somewhere down the path. Wood against wood. Slow, measured. Someone is already preparing for the day's work. But there is no rush. The pace remains unbroken. This is not a place of ambition. It is a place of continuity. Life here is not about becoming more. It is about continuing on. As you stand quietly among them, you begin to feel it too. The slowing of thought. The easing of tension. There is nothing you need to remember. Nothing you need to plan. The village does not demand your attention. It simply exists. The present moment stretches comfortably, uninterrupted. A dog stirs near a doorway, then settles back down, content. Somewhere, a child yawns. The sound is soft, almost swallowed by the morning air. The sun continues its gradual climb. Shadows shift slightly. Nothing dramatic changes, and that is the point. This village survives because it does not change. Each morning mirrors the last, creating a sense of safety, of predictability. Here, the future is not something to fear. It will look very much like today. You take another slow breath. The air feels cool in your chest. Clean, unburdened. You are far from modern noise. Far from screens, deadlines, and restless thoughts. Here, the world moves slowly enough for the mind to rest. The village continues to wake around you. One quiet moment at a time. And as the day gently begins, you feel yourself drifting away from where you came from, away from the present, drawn into this simple, steady rhythm, a rhythm that will carry you through the day, through the evening, and eventually into rest. For now, the morning has only just begun, and there is nowhere you need to be. Nothing you need to do. Just stand here in the soft light of dawn and let the calm of this medieval village settle gently around you. The light has changed now, not bright. Just enough. Enough to see the outlines of the room. Enough to know it is time. Inside the small wooden cottages, people begin to wake fully. There is no sudden movement, no sharp sound, just a slow return to awareness. Man opens his eyes and stares for a moment at the low wooden beams above him. They are darkened with age, familiar, unchanging. Does not think about the day ahead. There is nothing new to consider. His body already knows what to do. He shifts beneath the rough wool blanket, feeling the straw mattress press softly against his back. It is not uncomfortable. It is simply known. Beside him, another body stirs, then settles again. Morning here is not announced. It is accepted. He sits up slowly, feet touching the cool earth floor. The cold is brief. Expected. He reaches for his tunic, folded neatly nearby, and pulls it over his head. The fabric is coarse, but worn smooth in places by years of use. Nothing here is chosen for beauty. Everything is chosen for endurance. Across the village, similar movements unfold. A woman pushes herself upright, braiding her hair without a mirror. Hands moving from memory. She does not look at herself. There is no need. Her face is the same one she has seen every morning of her life. Children roll over on their straw beds, eyes half open, breathing slow. They are not called awake. They rise because everyone else does. Routine guides them more than instruction ever could. Water is poured into shallow basins. Cold, clear, hands dip in, slowly. Faces are washed without haste. The shock of the cold is brief, almost refreshing. It wakes the skin, not the mind. There are no soaps with scents, no perfumes. Just water, and the quiet splash it makes against clay. A woman wipes her face with a linen cloth, then hangs it carefully to dry. Every object has its place. Every action has its order. In one home, a fire that never fully went out overnight is stirred back to life. A piece of wood is added, then another. The flame responds slowly, stretching upward with a faint crackle. The sound is gentle, comforting. Fire here is not dramatic. It is dependable. Children sit nearby, still drowsy, watching the flames without speaking. They do not need entertainment. The morning itself is enough. Clothing is layered piece by piece, linen under wool, belts tightened by habit. Each movement is unhurried, as if time itself is generous. There are no clocks. No minutes to chase. Only light, only sound, only the feeling that morning has arrived. Outside, doors open quietly. People step out into the cool air, stretching stiff backs, rolling shoulders. Breath becomes visible for a moment, then disappears. The village path is damp beneath bare feet. Dew clings to hems of clothing, darkening the fabric slightly. No one reacts. This is expected. A man pauses to rinse his hands in a wooden bucket near his door. The water ripples, then settles. He does not rush. He does not linger. Everything's balanced. Across the path, a woman sweeps the ground outside her home, not to make it clean, but to make it familiar. Dust moves in slow arcs, then rests again. Children gather small pieces of wood, carrying them carefully to the hearth. Their steps are uneven, still heavy with sleep. Now, one scolds them. There is no hurry. Morning tasks are not about speed. They are about order. A goat bleats softly nearby. Waiting. It knows this moment. It knows that soon someone will come. And someone does. A hand rests gently on its side. Steady and calm. Milking begins, slow and rhythmic. The sound is soft. Almost hypnotic. Milk strikes the bottom of a wooden pail. Each drop echoing faintly. No words are spoken. None are needed. This is a conversation older than language. Nearby, a child rubs sleep from their eyes and leans against a doorway. They watch the village wake, absorbing it without understanding. These habits will shape them long before they realize it. Inside another cottage, a woman needs dough left to rise overnight. Her hands press and fold. Press and fold. The rhythm is steady. The dough yields willingly, as it always does. This motion has been repeated thousands of times. It requires no thought, only presence. The smell of damp flour and yeast fills the small space. Simple, earthy. It is the smell of sustenance, not indulgence. A man tightens the straps of his worn boots, then pauses. He sits for a moment longer than necessary, breathing slowly. There is no pressure to move faster. The fields will still be there when he arrives. Outside, the sky continues to brighten. Not suddenly. Gradually. The color deepens, warming the edges of the world. Shadows soften. Birds begin to call more frequently now. Their sounds weaving gently through the air. Not loud, not chaotic. Just present. A child laughs briefly, then quiets again. Even joy here is soft. Morning habits blend together, forming a pattern so familiar it feels invisible. No one announces their tasks. Everyone knows them. Water is carried. Tools are gathered. Animals are checked. Each movement fits into the next. This is not a life of decisions. It is a life of continuation. As you stand quietly among them, you feel your own body respond. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts lose their edge. There is nothing here that demands your attention. Nothing pulls you forward. The village exists entirely in the present moment. A woman pauses at her doorway, looking out across the fields. Not searching, just looking. The light rests gently on her face. She does not smile. She does not frown. She simply is. Children finish their small tasks and drift back toward their homes. Waiting. Waiting without impatience. They know food will come. They know the day will unfold. Trust. Here is not taught. It is lived. The morning routines near their end. Not because a schedule says so, but because everything is ready. Bodies are awake. Fires are lit. The village is prepared. Soon. They will eat. Soon. They will work. But for now, this moment remains. Balanced. Quiet. The last traces of sleep slip gently away. And as the village settles into its day, you remain here, wrapped in the calm of these simple habits. Habits that have existed for centuries. Habits that ask nothing more than to be repeated. The morning meal does not begin with an announcement. It begins when the work of waking is finished. Inside the cottages, the air is warmer now. The fire has settled into a steady glow, no longer crackling loudly, just breathing softly. People gather without calling to one another. They know where to sit. They know when to eat. A wooden table, scarred by years of use, waits patiently at the center of this room. There are no decorations. No plates arranged with care. Just what is needed. Bread is placed on the table. Dark, dense, heavy. In the hand. It is not sliced thin. It is broken. Each piece taken slowly, without counting. There is no hurry to finish. A pot of thin porridge rests near the fire, steam rising faintly. Oats, water, thyme, nothing more. A wooden spoon dips in, lifting a small portion. The sound is soft, a quiet scrape against clay. Milk is poured into cups, fresh from the morning's work. Goat's milk, still warm. Some prefer water beer instead, thin and mild. Safer than the river water at this hour. The liquid is pale, almost colorless. It does not intoxicate. It nourishes. People eat slowly, not because they savor the flavor, but because the body moves best when it is not rushed. There is little conversation, not from sadness, and not from distance. Silence here is comfortable. It belongs. A child chews carefully, eyes still heavy with sleep. Crumbs fall onto the table, then to the floor. No one notices. No one cares. The floor has known worse. A woman tears a piece of bread and hands it to a smaller child beside her. The exchange is quiet, almost automatic. No words are spoken. They are unnecessary. The bread is coarse, but filling. It settles heavily in the stomach, offering strength rather than pleasure. This meal is not meant to delight. It is meant to sustain, offering strength rather than pleasure. This meal is not meant to delight. It is meant to delight. It is meant to sustain. Man leans forward slightly as he eats, elbows resting on the table. He stares at nothing in particular. His thoughts do not wander far. There is no planning. No worry. The day ahead requires only what it always requires. Hands, time, patience. Fire casts soft shadows against the walls. They move slowly, stretching and shrinking with each quiet shift of flame. The room feels enclosed, safe. Outside, the village continues its gentle awakening. But inside, this moment remains small. Contained. Another spoonful of porridge. Another bite of bread. The sounds of eating are muted, chewing, swallowing. Occasional scrape of wood on wood. No one rushes to finish. No one lingers unnecessarily. When the body has enough, the meal ends. A cup is set down. Spoon rests inside a bowl. There is no signal, just an understanding. A woman stands and gathers the empty cups, stacking them carefully. Water is poured to rinse them. The motion is slow, methodical. Nothing is wasted. The last crumbs are brushed aside and saved. Even these have value. Children drink the final drops from their cups, then wipe their mouths with the backs of their hands. They are not corrected. This is acceptable. The meal has done its work. Warmth spreads gently through bodies that were cold only an hour ago. Energy returns quietly. Not in a rush, but steadily. People rise from the table, one by one, stretching their backs, rolling their shoulders. There is no lingering pleasure. No disappointment. The meal is simply complete. Outside, the light is stronger now. The sky has fully shifted into day. Tools wait by doorways. Fields call silently. But still, no one rushes. The body has been fed. The mind remains calm. This balance is important. The morning meal is not an event. It is a bridge between rest and work. As you stand quietly among them, you feel it too. The grounding effect of simple food. The way it anchors the body to the present moment. Nothing sweet. Nothing sharp. Just sustenance. The kind that allows the day to unfold naturally. Soon, they will step outside. Soon, hands will touch soil and wood and iron. But for now, this moment lingers softly. The warmth of the fire. The weight of bread. The quiet of shared space. The village breathes together. And as the last traces of the meal fade, the rhythm of the day moves gently forward. The meal has settled. Warmth lingers quietly in the body. Not heavy, not light, just enough. Doors open again. People step outside, one by one, into the fully formed morning. The air is still cool, but the promise of warmth rests just beneath it. Tools are lifted from their places without ceremony. A wooden plow, its edges smoothed by years of use. A sack of seed grain, tied closed with worn rope. Simple hand tools, their handles shaped to fit familiar. Palms. Nothing is inspected closely. Nothing is questioned. These tools have done their work before. They will do it again. The path leading out of the village is narrow, and while dash-worn feet follow it instinctively, finding the same stones, the same gentle curves, the fields open slowly ahead, wide and patient. Rows of earth stretch outward, dark and ready. The soil smells rich, cool. Alive. A man pauses at the edge of the field, placing his hand against the earth, not to test it. Just to touch it. This gesture is old, passed down without words. Work begins quietly. The plow moves forward, drawn by steady effort. The blade presses into the soil, turning it slowly. Earth folds over itself, revealing darker layers beneath. The sound is soft, a low scrape, a gentle resistance. Each step forward is measured. No one tries to finish early. The work is not something to escape. It is simply something to do. Nearby, another person scatters seeds into the newly opened furrows. The motion is repetitive. Hand dips into the sack. Hand rises. Seeds fall. Again. And again. The rhythm becomes hypnotic. There is no counting. No calculation. The body remembers how far apart the seeds should land. It has learned through years of repetition. Birds watch from nearby branches, waiting. They know this moment too. A breeze passes lightly through the field, lifting loose strands of hair, cooling skin warmed by movement. Shirts darken with effort, but no one wipes their brow in haste. Sweat here is not a problem. It is a sign that the body is doing what it was made to do. At the edge of the field, older villagers sit on low stools or lean against fences. They do not work the soil anymore. Instead, they watch. They keep an eye on tools, on children playing nearby, on the steady progress of the rows. Their presence is calm. Reassuring. They are part of the work without touching it. Children move in and out of the fields, sometimes helping, sometimes simply observing. They pick up stones and carry them away, clearing the ground. Each stone removed is a small victory. They do not complain. They do not rush. This is how they learn. Further along, hands mend a broken fence. Wood is fitted into place carefully, without measuring. A mallet taps gently. Once, then again. The sound echoes softly, then fades. Everything here moves at the same pace. The plowing, the planting, the mending. Even the birds seem to adjust their calls to match the rhythm. The sun climbs higher now, casting longer light across the fields. It does not beat down. It rests. Work continues, not in silence, but in quiet. Occasional words are exchanged, simple and brief. A nod, a small gesture. Most communication happens without sound. The earth responds slowly, accepting each seed. It does not promise anything. It never has. Still, the work is done with care. Trust here is not about certainty. It is about continuity. Someone carries water from a nearby stream, setting the jug down in the shade. When someone needs it, they drink. When they do not, it waits. No one claims it. It belongs to everyone. Hands move steadily, backs bend, then straighten. Breathing deepens. Time stretches. The mind grows quiet. There is no space for wandering thoughts when the body is fully engaged. This is not exhaustion. It is presence. At another part of the field, a woman kneels to check young shoots, brushing dirt gently away from their base. Her touch is careful, almost respectful. These plants are not separate from her life. They are part of it. Nearby, a child lies on the grass for a moment, watching clouds drift overhead. No one scolds them. Rest and work are not enemies here. They exist together. The fields do not demand speed. They demand consistency. As the morning deepens, the work settles into its middle rhythm, not beginning, not ending. Just continuing. The sound of the plow remains steady. The seeds continue to fall. Light moves slowly across the land. Nothing dramatic happens, and nothing needs to. This is how days are built. Not from moments of excitement, but from countless small actions repeated calmly. As you stand at the edge of the field, watching this quiet labor, you feel your own thoughts slow. There is no urgency here. No pressure, only the steady movement of bodies working in harmony with the land. The field accepts the work. The people accept the day. And the morning continues, unbroken. While some remain in the fields, others stay behind in the village. Their work begins quietly, just as it always does. Inside small workshops and open sheds, hands return to familiar motions. There is no signal to start. The body simply knows it is time. A carpenter lifts a piece of wood from where it has rested overnight. The grain is visible, worn smooth by touch. He runs his hand along its surface, not to judge it, but to greet it. Tools hang neatly on the wall, not arranged for display, but for memory. Each one has its place. A plane is lifted, set down, lifted again. Wood shavings curl away softly, falling to the floor like pale ribbons. The sound is gentle, a steady scrape. Then silence. Then scrape again. This rhythm has filled this space for years, perhaps decades. The carpenter does not think about the finished piece. His attention rests only on the next movement. Nearby, a blacksmith stands before a low fire. The forge glows softly, not roaring, not demanding. Metal rests in the heat. Dark at first, then slowly brightening. The blacksmith waits. There is no rushing metal. When the time is right, he lifts it out and places it on the anvil. The hammer rises and falls, not violently, not loudly. Each strike is controlled. Measured. The sound rings out, then fades into the air, never sharp enough to disturb the village's calm. Between strikes, there is stillness. The metal cools. The fire breathes. Work here is a conversation, not a command. Across the way, a weaver sits at her loom. Threads stretch vertically. Tight and patient. Her hands move horizontally, passing the shuttle through. Back and forth. Back and forth. The motion is smooth, almost soothing. The loom creaks softly, a familiar sound. Each thread finds its place. Layer by layer. Fabric grows slowly. No one watches it form. There is no audience. Only the hands and the rhythm they follow. This work has been learned over many years. It lives in muscle, not in thought. In another corner of the village, a potter shapes clay on a low wheel. The clay is cool and damp. It yields easily under steady pressure. The wheel turns slowly. Hands rise and fall with it, guiding the shape. There is no rush to finish. If the clay collapses, it will be gathered again. Nothing is lost. Time here is forgiving. Children wander through these spaces, quietly observing. They are not instructed. They learn by watching. By listening. By absorbing the rhythm of adult hands at work. Sometimes they are asked to bring water. Sometimes to sweep. Sometimes just to sit. All of it is learning. The village hums softly now, not with voices, but with motion. The scrape of wood, the tap of metal, the creak of the loom. Each sound occupies its own space, never competing. No one works quickly. Speed has no value here. Accuracy does. Familiarity does. In a small leatherworker's corner, hands press and stitch. Needle through hide. Pull tight. Again. The smell of leather is strong. Earthy, grounding. The leatherworker pauses often, resting his hands, not from fatigue, but from habit. Work and rest move together. Outside, the light continues to shift. Shadows shorten. The village feels fully awake now, but not busy. There is a difference. Busy is restless. This is steady. A Pahothmus woman mends a garment by the doorway of her home. Her needle moves slowly, thread sliding through fabric. The tear is small. The repair will be strong. This garment has been worn many times before. It will be worn many times again. Nothing here is disposable. Everything has a future. Nearby, someone sharpens a blade. Stone against metal. Slow circles. The sound is soft, almost meditative. He checks the edge with his thumb, then returns to the stone. No. Hurry. The blade will be ready when it is ready. The crafts of the village do not exist for profit. They exist for use, for maintenance. For continuation. Each object made here will return to daily life. A handle, a hinge, a bowl, a piece of cloth. None are remarkable. All are necessary. As the hours pass, the work continues without change. Hands repeat motions they have known for years. Thoughts drift less. Breathing deepens. The mind becomes quiet when the body moves with purpose. This is not boredom. It is immersion. Time feels wider here, less crowded. Moments stretch gently, one blending into the next. The village remains calm. No bells ring. No voices rise. Only the soft persistence of hands shaping the world in small, useful ways. As you move slowly through these spaces, you feel it yourself. The steadiness, the absence of urgency. The comfort of repetition. This is how the village endures. Not through great events, but through countless ordinary actions done with care. The crafts continue, the hands continue, and the day moves forward. Quietly. The sun has climbed higher now. Not harsh, not demanding. Just present. Light rests evenly across the village, settling on rooftops, fields, and paths. The pace begins to change. Work does not stop suddenly. It eases. Hands slow. Movements soften. As if the day itself has taken a deeper breath. In the fields, tools are set down, not thrown, not dropped, placed carefully on the ground, where they will wait. In the village, workspaces grow quiet. The hammer rests. The loom stills. The wheel stops turning. No one announces the pause. Everyone feels it. Bodies sense the weight of the sun, the warmth settling into muscles. Shade becomes inviting. People drift toward it naturally, without instruction. Under a broad tree near the edge of the village, several figures gather. They sit on the ground, on low stones, on pieces of fallen wood. Postures relax, shoulders drop, breathing deepens. This is not a break filled with talk. It is a quiet pause. A piece of bread is shared again, smaller than in the morning. A bit of cheese, a handful of dried fruit. Enough. Water is passed from hand to hand. The jug cool to the touch. Each person drinks slowly, then passes it on. No one drinks too much. No one is concerned with counting. Nearby, someone leans back against a tree trunk, eyes closing briefly, not sleeping, just resting. Children stretch out in the grass, watching insects move through blades of green. They speak in whispers, if at all. Even their play slows. In the shade of a building, an older man sits alone, hands resting on his knees. His eyes are open, but unfocused. He is not thinking. He is simply being. The village feels suspended in time. Sounds soften. Bird calls grow distant. Insects hum gently. The air itself seems thicker, slower. No one worries about what comes next. The afternoon will arrive in its own time. This rest is not earned. It is expected. The body needs it. The land allows it. Under another tree, a woman adjusts her head, covering, and leans back. Her breathing becomes even. The lines of her face soften. She is not asleep, but close. Here, rest does not need to be complete to be valuable. A child's head rests briefly on a parent's knee. Hand brushes through hair. Nothing is said. The moment is enough. In the fields beyond, the earth waits quietly. That it does not demand constant attention. It knows patience. Clouds drift slowly overhead. casting gentle shadows that move across the ground. Light and shade trade places without urgency. A dog stretches, then lies back down. It does not guard. There is nothing to guard. Against. The midday rest belongs to everyone. It is woven into the day, as naturally as work. As you stand at the edge of this quiet gathering, you feel it settle into you. Your own shoulders relax. Your breathing slows. Thoughts loosen their grip. There is no schedule pressing. In. No sound demanding response. Just warmth, shade, stillness. Time becomes wide here. Uncrowde. Moments pass without notice. Some people close their eyes completely now, slipping into a light sleep. Not deep, not long, just enough to restore balance. Others sit silently, watching dust drift through beams of light. No one checks the sun. They will feel when it is time to rise again. This pause does not end with a signal. It fades. Gradually. One person shifts position. Another stands slowly, stretching. The rest will follow, but not yet. For now, the village remains suspended. Wrapped in warmth. Cradled by stillness. The midday rest holds on a little longer, giving bodies what they need without asking anything in return. And as this quiet moment lingers, the day prepares itself to continue. The rest fades slowly, not all at once. One movement at a time. A shoulder rolls. A back straightens. Eyes open gently. The sun has shifted. Its light no longer falls straight down, but stretches across the village, lengthening shadows. The warmth remains, but it is softer now, more forgiving. People rise without urgency. No one checks the sky. The body knows it is time. Tools are lifted. Again, hands return to familiar places. The afternoon does not demand effort. It invites it. In the fields, work resumes gently. Animals are guided calmly, their pace unhurried. A cow is led to water, its steps slow and steady. A sheep grazes nearby. Content. Children help where they can, carrying small bundles. Watching closely, they are not corrected often. Mistakes are part of learning. The afternoon light makes everything look softer. Edges blur slightly. Dust hangs in the air, golden and slow. A woman sits near her doorway, mending clothing again. The tear she noticed in the morning is nearly invisible now. Her needle moves with less tension than before. She is rested. Her hands respond. Nearby, fabric is stretched and folded, preparing for the evening. A loom creaks softly once more, but slower than in the morning. The rhythm is gentler. Inside a shaded shed, a man tends to tools, cleaning soil from metal, oiling wooden handles. This work is quiet, almost ceremonial. Tools are not just objects. They are companions. They have served well. Today. In another corner of the village, children play. Not loudly. Not wildly. They roll stones, trace patterns in the dirt, chase one another for short bursts before stopping again. Laughter rises briefly, then fades. Even play obeys the rhythm of the day. The sun continues its slow descent. Light spills from trees, striping the ground with shade. The village feels unhurried, as if time itself has softened its pace. Someone shakes out a woven mat, preparing it for later. Dust lifts, then settles. A bird flutters down to peck at the ground. Unafraid. This village is not loud. It does not surprise. That offers the same gentle signals day after day. In the fields. The last rows are checked. Not everything must be finished. What remains can wait until tomorrow. There is no pressure to complete the day perfectly. Perfection is not required here. Only presence. Woman gathers herbs near the edge of the path. Choosing carefully, she smells them briefly, then ties them together. The scent follows her as she walks, earthy, familiar. A man pauses, leaning on a fence. He watches the light shift, breathing slowly. This moment belongs to him as much as the work does. The afternoon stretches comfortably. Not empty. Not full. Balanced. As the sun lowers further. The air begins to cool. Just slightly. Enough to be noticed. Enough to signal what comes next. Animals are guided back towards shelter. Their movements are calm. They have done this before. Children drift closer to home. Their energy softening. Voices remain low. The village seems to turn inward, preparing, not rushing. Hands finish small tasks. A basket is carried inside. A door is secured gently. Nothing is slammed. Nothing is hurried. As you move quietly through this scene, you feel it too. The easing of effort. The satisfaction of gentle work completed. There is no triumph. No disappointment. Just a sense that the day is unfolding as it should. The afternoon does not end sharply. It dissolves. Light thins. Shadows lengthen. And the village, wrapped in soft gold and cooling air, moves slowly toward evening. The light begins to fade. Not suddenly, not noticeably, just enough to soften the edges of the day. The air cools slightly, brushing against warm skin. Is a welcome change. People return to their homes without speaking. Paths that were busy earlier now feel empty. Wide, quiet. Inside the cottages. Fires are stirred again, not to blaze, but to warm. A pot of water is set near the flames. The water heats slowly. No. One watches it closely. They know how long it takes. While it warms, other small tasks unfold. A woman wipes down a wooden table. The cloth, damp and worn. Dust lifts briefly, then settles. Another sweeps the floor, slow and methodical. Each stroke of the broom is gentle. Cleaning here is not about perfection. It is about resetting the space. Water is finally lifted from the fire. Steam rises, soft and quiet. The smell is neutral. Clean. Hands dip into the basin. Warmth spreads across skin. Faces are washed slowly. Eyes closing briefly. There is no mirror. No checking. Just the sensation of water and touch. A man pours water over his hands, letting it run down his arms. The day's work rinses away without ceremony. A cloth is used to wipe the neck, behind the ears, along the forearms. These small rituals mark the end of labor. Clothing is loosened. Outer layers are removed and hung carefully. Sweat damp. Fabric is laid out to dry near the hearth. Fresh. Garments are pulled on. Still coarse. Still simple, but clean. Children are helped with their washing. Water splashing lightly as they move. They laugh briefly, then quiet again. Even their energy seems to understand the coming. Evening. Hair is combed with fingers. Loose strands are tied back. Hands move gently, unhurried. This is not grooming for appearance. It is preparation for rest. Nearby, someone checks the latch on the door, then leaves it slightly open. The evening air drifts inside, cool and steady. The sounds of the village have changed now. Fewer footsteps, softer voices, the occasional call of an animal settling in. A woman places bread on the table for later. Another sets a pot aside. Ingredients ready. The evening meal does not begin yet. It waits. This time between work and food is important. It allows the body to let go. A child sits near the fire, watching flames move. The firelight dances gently across the walls, stretching shadows. The room feels smaller now, cozier. Someone shakes out bedding, fluffing straw beneath wool blankets. The smell of dry grass rises briefly, then fades. Beds are prepared before they are needed. There is comfort in knowing they are ready. Outside, the sky deepens in color. Blue gives way to soft gray, then darker shades. The last light slips behind rooftops. The village feels tucked in. Protected. Inside each home. The day's edges smooth out. Hands that worked hard move slowly. Now, breathing deepens. There is no need to speak. Everything that matters is already known. As you stand quietly within this evening calm, you feel it too. The subtle shift from doing to being. The sense that nothing more is required of you. The fire glows steadily. Water cools. The space settles. The village has nearly reached the end of its day. And soon they will gather once more. This time to eat together in the quiet warmth of night. The fire has settled into a steady glow. Not bright. Not dim. Just enough to warm the room and soften the night. People gather again. This time without the weight of work on their shoulders. The table is set simply. Bread rests at the center. A pot is lifted from the hearth and placed carefully down. Steam rises slowly, then fades. The smell is familiar. Vegetables, grain, perhaps a bit of broth thickened with time. Nothing elaborate, nothing rare. The evening meal is quieter than the morning one. Bodies are tired now. Movement is slower. Hands reach for bowls without speaking. Each person knows their place. They sit close, not for conversation, but for warmth. A ladle dips into the pot. The sound is soft. Food is served evenly, without measuring. Enough for everyone. No more. No less. People begin to eat. Slowly. Carefully. Not because the food is precious, but because the moment is. The firelight flickers across faces, revealing lines softened by the day. Eyes look downward, focused on bowls, on hands. Conversation, if it comes gently. A few words about the fields. A comment on the weather. A small observation that does not require response. Voices remain low. No. One speaks over another. Silence fills the spaces between words without discomfort. A child listens more than they speak, chewing thoughtfully. They feel the closeness of family, even without touch. A woman breaks bread and passes a piece across the table. The exchange is quiet, almost ceremonial. Food moved from hand to hand, connecting each person to the next. The meal does not rush toward an end. It unfolds slowly, like the day itself. The fire pops once, then returns to stillness. Shadows dance along the walls, stretching and shrinking with each subtle movement of flame. A man leans back slightly, resting between bites. His breathing is deep. Even the work of the day has left his body, replaced by warmth. Outside, the village is nearly silent, now. No footsteps. No tools. Only the distant sound of night settling in. Back at the table, bowls empty gradually. Spoons rest inside them. No one signals the end. It arrives naturally. A final sip. A final bite. Hands pause. A woman gathers the bowls, stacking them carefully. Water is poured to rinse them. The sound is soft, rhythmic. A child yawns, then tries to hide it. No one comments. The yawn is understood. The evening meal has done what it is meant to do. It has fed the body. It has gathered the family. It has marked the slowing of the day. People remain seated for a moment longer than necessary. No one stands abruptly. The warmth of the fire holds them gently in place. This pause after eating is as important as the meal itself. It allows the day to loosen its grip. As you stand quietly nearby, you feel the calm settle deeper, the sense of being included without needing to participate. The comfort of shared space without expectation. Soon, they will rise. Soon, the evening will turn inward. But for now, this quiet table, this soft light, this simple meal rests gently at the center of the night. The dishes have been set aside. The table is clear again. The fire remains, low and steady, casting a gentle glow across the room. The evening has moved beyond nourishment. Now it turns inward. People settle into stillness. Some sit near the hearth. Others lean against the wall. A few remain at the table, hands resting loosely. There's no sense of urgency. No need to fill the space with words. This is the hour for reflection. Though it is not called that. Here, thinking is not something done deliberately. It happens naturally, then fades. A woman lowers her head slightly, hands folded in her lap. Her lips move quietly, forming familiar words. They are not elaborate. They do not ask for much. Gratitude, protection, continuity. The same phrases spoken every evening. A man closes his eyes for a moment, listening to the fire. The sound grounds him. It reminds him that warmth still surrounds him. Children sit close to their parents, not speaking. They absorb the calm without understanding its meaning. Faith here is not debated. It is lived. It exists in habits, in repetition, in the belief that the world follows a natural order. Day follows night. Work follows rest. Food follows effort. There is comfort in this structure. No one worries about distant futures. Tomorrow will come as it always has. Problems are not carried forward into the night. They are set down gently, like tools at the end of the day. Outside, the darkness deepens. The village feels enclosed, held together by shared rhythm. Inside, people breathe slowly. The pace of the day has fully released its grip. Someone murmurs a short prayer before standing. Not loud, not dramatic. Just enough to mark the moment. Another person touches a small wooden charm hanging near the door. It is worn smooth. Its meaning is personal, quiet. These gestures are not shown. They are not explained. They exist because they always have. The fire shifts slightly, sending a soft glow upward. Shadows stretch along the ceiling beams. The room feels smaller now. Safer. Thoughts become simpler. There's no room for complex worry. No energy left for doubt. The evening encourages acceptance. Life is what it is. And tonight, that is enough. A child rests their head against a parent's side. A hand rests there, steady and reassuring. Nothing more is needed. The belief in tomorrow does not require proof. It rests on habit, on the knowledge that the sun has always returned. As you stand quietly within this space, you feel your own thoughts soften. There is no need to analyze, no need to plan. The world, for this moment, is complete. The fire continues to glow. Breathing remains. Slow. The night deepens. And with it comes the quiet certainty that rest is near. Night arrives quietly. Not with a sound. Not with a signal. It settles in. One shadow at a time. The last light fades from the sky, leaving behind a deep, gentle blue. Stars appear slowly, as if placed there with care. No one looks up for long. They know the stars. Well, they have always been there. Doors close softly across the village. Wood meets wood with muted certainty. Latches fall into place without force. Inside each home, the fire is reduced further, allowed to glow rather than burn. Flames grow smaller. Light grows softer. The village paths empty. No footsteps remain. No voices travel through the air. Only the faint rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl, the soft chorus of insects beginning their work. Crickets fill the silence without breaking it. Their sound weaves into the night. Steady and even, the moon rises slowly, casting pale light across rooftops and narrow paths. It does not illuminate everything. It reveals just enough. Shadows stretch long and calm, unthreatening. The village feels smaller now, drawn inward. Each home becomes its own quiet world. Inside, people move carefully, as if not to disturb the night. A final check of the fire. A cloak folded neatly. A candle pinched out. Darkness settles gently. Animals have quieted. Livestock rest in their shelters, breathing slow and steady. Dogs curl near doorways, alert but relaxed. Nothing stirs that should not. The fields beyond the village disappear into darkness. They wait, unseen. They do not need attention now. The night holds them safely. Windows glow faintly for a moment longer, then dim. One by one, lights vanish. The village becomes a pattern of dark shapes against darker sky. Sound thins. Even the insects soften their rhythm. Time stretches wide. Unme sur ed. Uncounted. Inside one cottage, a family sits in near darkness, saying nothing. The closeness is enough. In another, someone exhales deeply and lets the day fully release. The night does not ask questions, it does not demand answers, it simply arrives and remains. As you stand quietly at the edge of the village, you feel it wrap around you too. The sense of being held by darkness rather than lost in it. There is no artificial light here. No distant glow. Only moonlight, starlight, and the memory of fire. The world feels older at night. Simpler. The sky stretches endlessly overhead, unchanged by human thought. Below it, the village rests, every path known, Every sound familiar. There is no fear here, only the deep understanding that this night has come before, and it will come again. The village sleeps not because it must, but because it is time. And with the night fully settled, the last movements fade. Stillness takes its place. The night is complete now. Inside the cottages, movement slows to its final rhythm. Beds wait in the corners of the rooms, simple and familiar. Frames made of wood. Mattresses filled with straw. Blankets of thick wool, worn soft with use. People approach their beds without ceremony. This is not a moment of anticipation. It is a return. Man lowers himself onto the mattress, the straw shifting quietly beneath his weight. The sound is gentle, almost comforting. He pulls the wool blanket up around his shoulders. It is warm, heavy enough to ground him. Nearby, another body settles in. Breathing already slowing. Clothing is not removed completely. Layers remain, held close against the night air. A woman adjusts the blanket over her child, tucking it carefully around small shoulders. Her movements are slow, deliberate. She lingers for a moment, then withdraws her hand. The room is dark now. The fire has been reduced to embers, glowing faintly. Just enough light remains to mark the shapes of the room. Breathing becomes the loudest. Sound. In, out slow, even. Sleep comes naturally here. It is not chased. It is. Allowed. The body recognizes the pattern. Work, rest, eyelids, grow heavy. Thoughts thin. No one lies awake replaying the day. There is nothing to replay. The day was what it was. In the middle of the night. Some will wake briefly. It is natural. Eyes open in darkness. A shift of position. A deep breath. Perhaps a quiet prayer. Or simply listening to the night. Then sleep returns. There is no anxiety in waking. No clocks to check. No worry about hours lost. The night is long enough for everyone. Outside, the village rests under the moon. Inside, sleep deepens. Dreams come softly. If they come at all. They are not dramatic. Just fragments. Light, movement, familiar faces. The body sinks into the mattress. Muscles release their last tension. The wool blanket holds warm steady. Neither too much nor too little. This is a sleep shaped by habit. By consistency. By trust. The earth outside is still. The sky moves slowly. Overhead, nothing demands attention. Even the mind seems to understand that it is safe to let go. As you stand quietly within this darkness, you feel the same pull. The invitation to rest. To release thought. To drift. Breathing slows further. The night holds everything in quiet balance. And sleep, deep and unforced, settles in. The night loosens its hold without anyone noticing. Darkness does not leave all at once. It thins. The sky shifts slightly, from deep black to a softer shade. Inside the cottages, breathing remains slow. Bodies rest heavily, wrapped in wool and habit. Sleep still holds them. Outside, the village does not stir yet. Paths remain empty. Doors closed. Fields unseen. The world waits, somewhere beyond the hills. Light is forming, not visible yet, only felt. A faint coolness moves through the air. brushing against walls and roofs. The night exhales. Inside one cottage, a person shifts in their sleep, not waking, just turning, finding a more comfortable place. The straw mattress adjusts quietly. The sound is barely there. Breathing continues, steady. Even dreams thin and drift away, leaving behind a calm emptiness. Thoughts do not return immediately. They are not needed yet. The sky lightens again, just a little, enough to soften the edges of darkness outside. The village still sleeps, but the day is approaching slowly patiently. Distant sound moves through the air soft, familiar. Church bell not loud not urgent just present. It travels across fields and paths, touching rooftops gently, then fading. No one reacts yet. The sound is part of the night, just as much as the crickets were. Inside the cottages, sleep deepens for a moment longer. The body recognizes this hour. It knows what comes next. Breathing remains. Slow. Muscles remain loose. There is no need to hurry. Bell will ring again. It always does. Outside, mist begins to form near the ground. It settles lightly over the paths, over the fields, over the edges of the village. The world softens, shapes blur, the same way they did yesterday. The same way they will tomorrow. Inside, someone draws the blanket closer without waking. Another sigh softly, then stills. The village holds its breath. Light continues to grow, almost unnoticed. The sky takes on a pale tone. Morning is near, not as an event. As a return. Soon, eyes will open. Feet will touch the floor. Water will be poured into basins. Bread will be broken. Fields will wait. Work will resume, but not yet. For now, everything remains suspended, balanced between night and day. As you remain here, standing quietly within this moment, you feel the loop closing, or perhaps opening. The end of one day is the beginning of another. There is no sharp line between them, only repetition, only rhythm. The bell echoes once more, a little clearer now, still gentle, still calm. The mist rests over the village, the same as it did before. The same as it always will. And as another day begins exactly like the last. There is nothing you need to do. Nothing you need to follow. Nothing you need to remember. The rhythm continues on its own. The village will wake. The day will unfold. And you can rest here, letting the familiar pattern carry you gently onward into sleep.